Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fins Faithful podcast. As always, you can catch us live on YouTube and on X. And the Dolphins get a big, much needed victory last night on Monday Night Football, 23-15 over the LA Rams. And like I said in the video headline, keep their season hopes alive. And can they actually make the playoffs? We'll look ahead to all that, break down the game. And joining me to do that is Miss Finn's host. She has a weekly weekday show at 8 a.m. on her channel on the Miss Finn Show. So check that out, Miss Finn's. Thanks so much for joining me. How you doing this evening?
Thank you for having me, George. Much appreciated. I love my team. You know, what can I say? We finally got a win. I'm so happy. Thank God. So,
Wasn't pretty, but we got the win.
yep, but we got it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think taking a look at that game, my general thoughts. So I thought the Dolphins really won this game was situationally. I thought third down, I think they were 6 for 13 on third down. The Rams were like 3 for 12. The red zone, they beat them in the red zone. Penalties, they were the more disciplined team. I thought things that caused the Dolphins to lose games early on in the season, I thought they did well, and that kind of put them over this ugly game. But I think it starts, and we should talk about the defense and Anthony Weaver. I think they deserve the credit here. We should talk about that. Kind of your thoughts on the defense in the game.
I love the defense. I'm a defensive girl. I love defense. That's my favorite. Jason Taylor is my favorite player of all time, except Mike Gesicki is definitely my current player. Obviously, I know he left, but whatever. I would say the defense to me was stout. It was exactly what we needed from the defense. And talking about this game, we really made sure that we took care of the things that we were better at than they were. Knowing that they're not that good at the run game, they're better at the passing game. It made us so much better when we had our DBs and our secondary really just, I would say, hovering over every single one of their players. I loved how Anthony Weaver used the cover zero, and also faked the zero and then dropped a couple guys back to climb up in the middle. To me, the defense was great. I love what Weaver did. I love how we were able to get after the quarterback, apply a lot of pressures. Getting 4 sacks is something that we have to continue to do. And to me, I like how I saw Chop Robinson and his little chop. It was good. Overall, I'm very, very happy with the defense. But then again, I'm never worried about the defense. I'm always worried about the offense more than anything else. So,
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned about Weaver. Yeah, I watched a little bit. I don't know if you had a chance. I watched a little bit of the All 22 today. I was surprised it was out that early, and that's the most cover two I've ever seen the Dolphins play. They dropped the linebackers back a lot in coverage, really put it all on the D line in the front seven, and it kind of confused Matt Stafford, I thought. And I just thought it was a brilliant, great game plan, and kind of gave teams like a taste of their own medicine that they give us. All these teams now run all the too high safety against us. We kind of did that against them. And what was the stat I read today? Matthew Stafford teams haven't scored an offensive touchdown in like only one time in the last 49 games. So that's crazy. And you mentioned Chop. Look, I hold my hands up. I've been critical of Chop.
oh, me too.
Yeah, Chop's a guy. Look, I started my podcast on draft coverage. That's my passion. And this year I watched a lot of the DNs on the edge rushers because I thought that's the position we'll go in. And when I watched them on tape, I mean, big potential. The burst off the edge was evident when you watched him play. However, he doesn't finish plays, and you started seeing that in the same thing in the NFL. And everybody tells me he's young, give him time. But yesterday, Miss Finns, is the first time I said, okay, I see it now. I see where the path and the vision they had. And he also ran, and he also, if you notice, he's really good at rushing up in that stunt in the middle in the A and B gap is where he got his sack. So yeah, Chop. How did you feel about Chop? Maybe even going back to when we drafted him till now.
Oh, me personally, I hated the pick. Absolutely hated the pick. I thought there were other positions that we needed to. I know we needed an edge, obviously, having both of our edges out with injuries, and we knew that we weren't going to have Phillips till mid-season and Chop later in the season. So I understood getting an edge, but I was not happy with getting an edge in the first round. I thought there were other positions of need more, like interior O line or even defensive tackle. And for me, I was very, very critical. I really didn't like the pick. If I'm gonna be honest, not him.
Yeah,
I would have
just
taken
yeah,
him in the
yeah.
second round, but or even nope in the second round at high at most. I just didn't
Yeah,
like it where we
I,
picked him. That's
I,
all.
I think on my big board I had him like at 31. So I late for it, again. He's not. It was a reach, but I just didn't see it. A lot of concerns me, but it was good to see last night that some
Reach.
of the potential reach. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat. My boy Kenny, 1896 Vice, Luna, Mia, how you doing? Joe Riss, what's up?
What's up,
Yes.
Joe? I see you.
Okay, so talking the D line, man, Zach Sealer back. Wow, you saw it immediately the difference. Him with Calais Campbell. I don't know how he's doing it at 38 years old, but I'm going to tell you a guy who I noticed a lot who popped, Deshaun Hand. Quietly, he's been playing well.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell we need a sealer badly. I mean, that
Oh
was
yeah,
that. I didn't realize how badly we needed him, but my lord, we definitely needed him badly. You can see he's working really well with Calais. They're kind of working off each other on each side of the line, and for me, that's working really well. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Deshaun Hand. He's contributing, but if we're gonna be honest, ladies and gentlemen, we're a bad team that played a mid team, and we played better than they did, defensively speaking. So that's why we got the win. And our offense was able to be complementary. So far, the D line, I'm glad that they were able to go ahead and really stop the run. Kyron Williams didn't really get off like he normally does versus other teams, which I was very happy to see. And the fact that we were able to stop him with no touchdowns, no passing touchdowns whatsoever, it's just a testament of what Weaver is trying to implement in this defense. For me personally, I liked what I saw. You know, we covered Puka Nakua well. We covered Cooper Cup well, and when we were up, and it was towards the end of the first half, we were playing prevent defense. You know, allowing them to get, but keeping everything underneath, not letting them beat us down the field. So for me, I think that defense did exactly what we needed them to do, and I'm very happy with that.
yeah, and the secondary played fantastic, man. Jalen Ramsey, and it sucks that Kendall Fuller. Um, Daniel Taylor, what's up in the chat? Hopefully, Misfits, we can get back to our elite team status in 2025.
Seriously.
But yeah, the secondary and Kendall Fuller, like I said, went out. It was announced today he's not playing next week. We'll get to the injuries in a minute, but I thought the secondary was good. Jalen Ramsey's playing lights out, and we only blitzed, like I said, 4 times in the game. But every time they blitzed, it worked. Whether it was Jordan Porter coming down, stuffing the run, or Javon Holland blitz. But like you said, tip of the cap to Anthony Weaver. That led us to the victory. Now, the offense. All right, I'll let you start on the offense. Give me your thoughts, because I know the offense is what concerns you, Miss Fins. There's a lot to dissect there, but I'm interested to get your take.
I mean, in the offense, well, one thing that stood out for me, and I kind of noticed it um, last night after the game, is finally I'm seeing McDaniel hold accountable a player, and you saw that maybe that might have been unintentional, but if it was intentional, I'm happy about it. Mostert didn't carry the ball at all after having that horrendous fumble last game. That was one of the contributing factors for us to losing it. But for me in this offense, I'm gonna leave Tua for last. I'm gonna start with the rest of the team. I like
Okay.
what I saw from Malik Washington. I mean, one
Agreed.
reception, 18 yards. I like how he evaded the tackles. He was able to get on the outside and really just rush to and literally leap to get his first touchdown. So very happy. Very happy about him. Very happy about seeing Jalen Wright as well. The only issue that I have is we have to allow these young guys to also play. Like I want to see more Malik. I want to see more Jalen Wright. Letting those young guys come in, it's gonna really help us in the future. Especially in these next games coming up. There'll be great games for them to get some game time underneath their legs, specifically Malik Washington. But as far as the rest, one horrific pass drop by Jalen Waddle that would have given us a first down. And to me, it frustrated me. Apparently, he said in the end, the post game that, oh, I was blinded by the light. I'm like, what are you, CD Lamb? Because the sun wasn't out. Oh, the lights were bright. Like I get it when I'm playing at night, but still, for me personally, I was very disappointed in that drop because that ball was a perfect throw by Tua. I love how the O line played. They played really well. They protected Tua, gave him plenty of times to be able to go ahead and look at the different reads and attack what the defense was giving him. A lot of it, as I expected, they would run a cover two. He took a lot of the, I don't want to say necessarily all the checkdowns, but he still took the guys underneath that allows to get young junk yardage, and I was very happy about that. And then when it comes to obviously Tyreek, he got the touchdown. Yay. Um, OBJ almost killed him. Why?
Oh, in the
um,
celebration. Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
But I would say the one that was the one that if I were to go into receiving, I like what I saw from Johnu Smith. I think Jalen Waddle got a little bit too many opportunities where maybe we could have spread that out. I know he only got 6 targets and caught 3, but he's gonna have to be better than that for what we need from him. So that's all.
Yeah, you talk about Malik Washington. He got his first start. I don't know about you, but I was surprised to see him out of the first play there. And the snap count. I looked on the third receiver. He had the most surprisingly. He had the most snaps, 18. OBJ had 17, and River, who had a nice block on Malik's end around on the opening drive, had only 4 snaps. And the Mostert thing. Yeah, I agree. Finally, it started with a few weeks ago with David Long being benched. Look how that's worked out. Anthony Walker's playing well, better in pass coverage. Mostert, no carries to send him at now. He did make a couple plays in the pass game, especially that one third down, which is a great play by Tua. But yeah, you put the ball on the ground, you don't play. And I think McDaniel's finally realizing that this team has been undisciplined and you can't have these mistakes. And that's why we won this game. We finally were the disciplined team. Finally were the team that was playing less penalty. Let's be honest. The Rams beat themselves a little bit in that game. Stafford missed wide open guys in the end zone. They fumbled the ball, put it back in the field goal, took it from a 52-yard field goal to a 57-yard field goal. But anyways, we didn't beat ourselves except, a couple plays from Tua. And speaking of Tua, Kenny saying F them pigs. Yeah. Speaking of Tua, it's interesting, right? Watching the game, it was a strange Tua game. I don't know how to explain it after I watched him on film. Look, let's start with the good. The good was we were 6 for 13 on third down. All 6 were completions from him. That one play, do you remember that one play where a verse was coming in? He spinned around, hit Mostert for that 25-yard pass, and that got us in field goal range. I think instead of getting sacked and keeping it 17-9, we went up 20-9. That pass to Malik Washington it was beautiful on the side.
Agreed.
That was the good. He played situational football well. He played complementary football with the defense well. Now the bad, he took about 3 sacks, Miss Fins, that for a guy who's been in the league 5 years, I don't understand what was going on. And I disagree with you on one thing. I don't think the O-line played that great in this game, especially Brewer, Eichenberg, and Jones up the middle. Those defenses.
Eichenberg is the reason why we won.
Oh, with the penalty. Yeah.
What do you mean?
But I mean, generally speaking.
The man single-handedly kept that drive
All
going.
right, hold on. Did you see Kobe Turner? They made that man look like Aaron Donald last night. The defensive tackle for the Rams, and that was bothering Tua, the pressure up the middle. That's why Tua was struggling. But could you believe those sacks he was taking? I'm like, get rid of the ball. What are you doing? It was just a strange game from Tua all around. Wasn't his best, but look, we won the game. And you know, breaking. Yeah, Austin Jackson's out for the season. You see that, Miss Finns?
Yeah, I saw that a little bit earlier today.
Yeah, that's no bueno. But Kendall Lamb, I guess we'll keep. You know, Kendall Lamb was okay, give up 3 pressures, but anyways, yeah, I didn't think the O line had their best game. What made you? What did you like from the O line last night? No problem.
Sorry,
I'm waiting like 2 in the pocket, taking those sacks.
Yeah, but the thing is, you could get rid of the ball too. You know, that's one thing.
He should have. He should have.
And this is like, I'm okay with Tua taking a sack if there's really nobody open, and they're right on top of you. Don't fumble the ball. And there was one instance in one sack that I was okay with. I mean, literally, actually, no, not one of them. Not a single sack, because they were all his. He caused his own pressure. Yeah. If you take a look at, there were 2 specific ones that annoyed me the most. One of them was he essentially fumbled the ball, but the O-line collapsed. They're on top of him, and he chucks the ball. And I'm like, why would you do just in that instance take the sack so you're not fumbling the ball and giving the ball away? And then they took the ball with like very minimal yardage left. Thankfully, our defense was awesome, and it didn't hurt us too much. But there was another one where, dude, you took a 20-yard sack. You rolled out. You have more than enough time. If everybody's covered, nobody's underneath, there's not a lane for you to go and take and maybe gain a couple of yards. Throw the ball away.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I've always harped him about. He doesn't throw the ball away.
Yeah. He had time on all of them to throw the ball away. I mean, there was pressure, up the middle. I mean, look, it's a small sample size. I'll give you that. And I don't know if it's, dude, that Rams young defensive line was getting after it. Their Verse is a dude. I mean, I wish we would have had
rookie.
Him. Yeah, he went like 2 picks in front of us. I loved him in college. He's just the power he plays with, and the other kid they have. I mean, so it's a small sample size, but I agree with 1896 Vice that look, he made the key third down plays, and the defense. You know, it complimented the defense, and he's got to watch the turnovers. I couldn't have said it better. That's kind of how he played. And Tua, Miss Finns, I don't know about you. The best version of Tua is the one we saw in Buffalo. This offense of the high, throwing downfield, taking chances, even when they're playing the cover 2, that's not the best Tua. Tua being an efficient passer, taking what's there with his short passes, check down, lean on the running game, and you kind of see this offense kind of transitioning to that. I think that's the best version of Tua. Would you agree with that, or do you like the greatest show on surf kind of team that we haven't seen in a while? But would you agree with that?
It varies by opponent, to be honest with you. I think all that is determined by the opponent, because you're gonna have to adjust as a quarterback to whatever the defense is giving you. In my opinion, my thing is you have to play at a high level consistently, and to me, I still haven't seen Tua do that consistently. And although, people are like, why are you always harping on Tua? He's the quarterback. He gets all the girls. He gets all the money. What do you expect? Like, this is exactly what he's supposed to get criticism too. Like, and yeah, we won this game because this was a mid team. You can't play like this versus the Ravens. You can't play like this versus the Chiefs. You can't play like this versus the Steelers. You can't play like this versus the Bills. Case in point, we lost to them twice. So, yeah, we had a win, much needed win. Thank God the defense balled out. But this is right around the time that I thought that they would be able to put things together. But no, for me, you still gotta step your game up, in my opinion, because there's still too much football left. Too much football left for
I
us to do
agree.
it. It's not just tank and then let's get a top pick. Like,
Right. No, this team's too good. Healthy, this team's too good for that. Right? 3-6. I mean, this team is not a 2-7 team health wise. But moving off this game now, it's great we got the win. I said this a few weeks ago. The Dolphins, this is so Dolphins, right? They're gonna bunch some wins together. They'll get 8 or 9 wins. They'll, maybe make the playoffs or not. I doubt it, but lose in the first round. And then Chris Greer will go up to the Stephen Ross and say, man, to a healthy, would have won 10, 11, 12 games. Then we'll do this whole thing over again. And while this team, as constructed, when healthy, big thing, when healthy, is good enough to compete for a playoff spot. But my problem with Greer is he's not good enough to construct a roster that's going to take you beyond that and actually really compete to get deep in the playoffs or with these top teams like Baltimore and the Ravens, and the Ravens and the Bills and these Chiefs, these top teams. And we're going to come back, do it again. There'll be another problem, whether it's another concussion or if it's something else. And we'll make a splash signing or trade, and everybody will be like, Greer's cooking. And then we'll win 9 games again and be in the same spot, and we'll wait a year too long. Bigger picture, it's probably worse that we win these games. I love to win the games. I love to do the shows after we win. I love this team. But kind of how do you see this thing playing out? I expect them to be 5-6 going into Thanksgiving. Then they're going to have to beat a good team on the road like the Texans or the Packers. How do you kind of see this thing playing out in the near future?
yeah, I see them winning these 2 games. They should. If they lose either of these 2 games, just tank at this point because there's no point. 7 losses to me, any team with 7 losses is just not going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. Officially at 8 losses, yeah, you're for sure not going to make it. But a 7 is just you got less than 1%, in my opinion, to make it. The other thing is Miami Dolphins losses.
Yeah.
My opinion is that the Miami Dolphins are the most 500 team in the entire league. We're always good enough or too good that we can't get a top 5 pick, but too bad that we can't get into the playoffs. And if we do, we lose. Did already the Dolphins, typical Dolphins. And I already resounded myself 3 weeks ago that I was like, nope, we're running this back. And right before the trade deadline, I was like, nope, they're not. I know my GM. He's not going to take anybody. He's not going to make any trades. He's not gonna, nothing. I fully expect for this team to run it back next year. And even if we do win these next 2 games, it will take player effort for us to actually eke out a win. I'm just being honest. It's gonna take player execution and that player effort for them to actually make this happen. Without it, there's just not much that we can do.
Okay, so where would you go? What do you? So you said they're gonna run it back. So you kind of have a similar thing that I was saying. You see that playing out. What would you do? Where do you stand organizationally with the 3 pillars of this organization? Greer, McDaniel, Tua. Ms. Finch, you're the GM of this team. Where do you go? How would you fix this?
It's simple. He already put in together a team that should have won. But there's one key position that unfortunately was never really addressed. It also ends up being the most important. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Give Miss Finns 1 second. Yeah, guys, we're here live. Make sure smash that like and subscribe button. Support the channel. It's much appreciated. Everybody in the chat, from Daniel Taylor, Joe Rist, thank you guys so much for joining us in the chat. Anybody who's watching on X right now, hop on over to YouTube and join us. And again, smash that subscribe and like the videos. It helps support the channel as we are joined by Miss Finns. Also, check her show out. She has a weekday show, 8 a.m. every day on YouTube. She has great content, so make sure you check her out. We're here recapping the Dolphins' victory over the Rams. The Dolphins are now 3-6. Miss Finns was just talking about how she thinks this team is going to run it back, and she's not a fan of Tua Tagovailoa, I think. He's good enough not to be good enough. Let's still go to some of the comments here. Daniel Taylor, I thought Anthony Weaver coming from Baltimore Tree, I think he's the star of the night when it comes to the performance of the X and the O's. Coaching-wise, couldn't agree more with you. I want to get back to Joe's comment about Tyreek. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he told the ESPN reporter that he had a ligament torn in his wrist, all dating back all the way to the Commanders' joint practice. There was kind of mixed signals. And then he said during the arrest that he didn't. He re-injured it while he was being in the handcuff. Then after the game, he said he re-injured it blocking. So I kind of don't know what the true story is with Tyreek. You never know with him, but I thought it was interesting that it was the ligament in the wrist that's actually a torn ligament. So, and then we got evidence here. Go back to the chat. Daniel Taylor. Evidence, nonetheless, we make the playoff next year. We need a tremendous amount of luck on your side. Well, Daniel, to be honest, this team healthy could compete for a playoff spot. There's no doubt about that. Now, the biggest question is, are they going to be healthy? I don't think this team is a top 5 pick, top 10 pick type of team. You saw the last 3 games, even though we lost twice. In this game, if the defense plays well, 2 in this offense can play complementary football to kind of benefit them. I like the way they're going as far as leaning on the run game. I mean, last night wasn't the best example of the offense, but the previous 2 games, I think that's the path to beat these really good teams who play a lot of this cover 2. The run game, leaning heavy on the run game and keep leaning on critical points in the game to stick with it and let Tua just be the point guard, right? Let him take whatever there. If it's a check down to the tight end or if it's quick slants or whatever, that's Tua, especially in college. And in the NFL, it's the best version of himself. I'll repeat that. I always go back to the Florida Panthers team, the one that was that got a few years ago got blown out of the playoffs. They were this running gun, led the league in scoring, didn't work. The GM had to change it up, change the style of play, make some trades to something that's more effective, in playoff style, hockey or football. Sometimes the stats are not everything and they're kind of misleading. And even when Tua is kind of, throwing for 300 plus yards, it might not be the best recipe to beat these teams. And we got Miss Finn's back. Everything good over there?
Yeah, I just had a little emergency. I apologize. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. It happens.
Yeah. But, back to the team. Me being the GM, I mean, I was against the Flores firing. I had to take the day off. I was so upset that morning doing the show when it happened. I literally I took the day off because I was like, I can't work today. I was so mad. But this is the thing: the roster that we had, and I know a lot of people want to say, "See, we had Huntley, we had Skyler, we had Boyle, and they couldn't run this offense." Well, true. If McDaniel kept the same exact playbook with Tua's skill sets, you can't expect another quarterback to do the exact same thing, and he's a lefty. But my thing is, this roster on paper is top 5. So to say that Greer hasn't been able to put in a team that can get it done, that's not true in my opinion. He got a team. You don't go from being the number 1 offense to being the last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't go from being mid to that number one. Like if it's not a good roster,
They're not
but
even mid.
no,
Right? They're bad now.
initially,
Yeah, yeah,
first year
yeah.
mid, second, second year number one, and then this year last. So for me, it's quarterback play. Period. It is quarterback play, and Tua will always be a really good second tier quarterback, in my opinion. I don't see enough from him now. This is what year 5 for him. So I don't see enough that he's going to be able to elevate a team to a win, to do those special little things that you needed. And that's not to say that he won't get. Look at Kirk Cousins. Ken Cousins has been second tier his entire career as a starter.
Making that money though, boy.
And yo, I'm telling you, I don't know
I
how
gotta give.
some of these other quarterbacks don't pay attention
Yeah.
to. I would have been
Kirk's doing
like,
so
"What?
good. Yeah.
Who's your agent?" And let me get with him. That's what people don't realize is, oh, they're getting paid $50 million a year. I'm like, not really.
Guaranteed money is where it's at.
Kirk Cousins is the only quarterback that's actually been able to get 40, 45, $50 million fully guaranteed each year. Why? Because he's smart. He's like, no, I'll take a 2-year contract, fully guaranteed, no problem. The man is a genius. His agent, genius, whomever they are, because the man has been, again, a second tier, really good quarterback, just not enough to get you over the hump, no matter what kind of offense you can have around him, which some would say it's one of the best offenses, under Kirk Cousins, but they never had the defense. And that was the problem. Now they got the defense. They don't really have they're iffy on the quarterback play, let's just say that. You know what I mean? So you at the end of the day, there's always going to be about maybe 5, at most 6 true, really, really, really good quarterbacks, and about 2 that are elite quarterbacks. Everybody else is a good quarterback, but they're not going to get you over the hump. And that's the problem. We need somebody with the way that this team is constructed to get us over the hump. And unfortunately, I don't think Tua will be able to, because of his skill set. When you're limited, you're limited. There's nothing else you can do. You can work at it. You can get better. But if it's not there, if you don't overly correct it, then you're not going to get better. Now, I don't want this to turn out to be, oh, you just hate Tua. I don't hate Tua. I like Tua. I met him. I got pictures with him. I've had conversations with Tua directly. And his parents, actually, they're awesome. It's just the football player. That's who I think needs to. Unfortunately, we didn't have the right quarterback for the type of team that you would need to be able to go ahead and maximize this offense and maximize the what do you call it? The players we have around. So that's where I'm at when it comes to that. So as a GM, I want to blow it all up, but that's what we always do. To me, Greer, I hate Greer. He always, what do you call it? The thief of joy. I'm probably, but the what do you call it? The oh God, no. He always get injured players every time. All he does is get injured players. I don't understand how other teams who are picking behind us and they somehow get these gems in the 3rd round, in the 4th round, in the 5th round. Man, fire the scouting department. Fire everybody except the cleaning crew. They can stay. Other than that, everybody else got to get fired. You got to get football people in there, because it's just not. It's not going to work, and we're going to have to go through this again. That's what I would do, but I know a lot of people don't want to do that. If you want to do a soft retool, you let Tua play out this season. Cut him before March. before the league year starts. But make it post June 1st, so that way it's not a bigger salary cap hit. You're gonna have to eat his money anyways this upcoming year, anyways. But at least you get him off afterwards. You'll have a little bit of dead cap a couple years after that. Not a big deal, especially when you draft a quarterback. For me, I would do that. Then I take Tyler Huntley when he comes back. I'm making my starting quarterback. Have Skylar Thompson be my backup. What am I gonna do? Anthony Weaver. I don't want you as my head coach. Not because I don't want him as my head coach. It's because I really need him in that defense. So I would fire McDaniel. I'd get a different quarterback. I'd get a different head coach, a different GM, a different president of operations. Let Dan Marino be the president of operations. My gosh. I mean, look at what over there in Denver, what
John Elway.
oh yeah, John Elway has been doing. You know what I mean? Brought him a Super Bowl. I know it was 2015, 9 years ago, but guess what? They got a Super Bowl. Do you think those fans are upset? Oh, it's been 9 whole years since we got a Super Bowl. I don't think that they're that upset, you know? And then once you do that, wherever we end up being, even if we get 6 wins, 10 wins, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not even looking to do the playoffs. I want the 2026 draft, and that's where I'm getting my quarterback. In this draft, I'm drafting a left tackle. I'm drafting in the first round. I'm gonna trade also to 2 big players so I can get more picks. Tyreek, definitely one of them. Somebody else, I'll probably do as well. And then I'm getting a left tackle. I'm getting a defensive tackle. That's what I want in the first. And I want to take care of the trenches this year. And then the year afterwards, I'm gonna get some wide receivers are always everywhere. And I already have my future running back, so I don't have to worry about those. Get rid of Waddle. Don't need him. He'll be one of my trade pieces. And that's it. That's how I would do it. So
Interesting. I'll give you kind of my take and kind of some of the things you said and maybe how I would differ. I think though, realistically, this team's kind of stuck. There's a lot of dead cap space with some of these contracts. So here's what I would do, right? I agree with you. Greer should have been gone a long time ago. That's non-negotiable for me. Greer is not a bad GM. He's just okay. He's middle of the pack. And his teams always reflect that. Where do they win? 8, 9, 10 games. Again, doesn't construct a roster that can compete with the big boys. So for me, Greer always has been out. I have my doubts that's going to happen. But anyways, I'd get rid of Greer. I'd bring in somebody, again, to run the football operations, and he decide about Mike McDaniel. But the problem is Mike McDaniel and Tua are kind of tied to the hip, right? If one goes, both go, I think. Okay. How about this, though? How about this? Hear me out. I'm drafting a quarterback this year. Have to. I can't wait anymore. QB2 is the biggest reason. That's a fireable offense. Like you mentioned earlier, you made a great point. You have a system, a quarterback for this specific quarterback for a specific system, and you don't draft anybody and develop them in that system who has a similar style to your quarterback, and then you expect to run the same plays and expect them to be as effective. That's malpractice. But anyways, I draft a quarterback. First 2 rounds. I know that everybody says, everybody check out my draft show I had with Ryan Roberts, draft analyst from A to Z Sports. He said this quarterback class is not great, but there's some intriguing prospects, right? So it all depends on where we pick. Draft one and treat them like Alex Smith was in the Chiefs. Tua, you're the starter, kid. Sit on the bench, put the clipboard, and Tua's probably going to get hurt or concussed in game 4. And if he has to play, he has to play. I would treat it like that. Because Tua's a good quarterback, right? I mean, everybody who says he's offered, he's a good quarterback. He's in the 8 to 15 range in the league for me, right? Now, what's his ceiling?
15 to 15th range?
8 to 15.
Oh, I heard 15 to 15th range.
No. No. I haven't drank yet. He's around, I don't know if you agree, he's around 8 or 15 range. The question with Tua is his ceiling. I've always said that. And now with the injuries, and my gosh, this guy is never going to learn. Did you see when he on the interception? It's just not going to happen. There's no hope. It's over, right?
And then he tells the player, "Can you not run over me?" He's like, "There's no room." Like, what do you mean not run over you? You're in my way, bro. Like, I just can't.
I couldn't believe what I said. Okay, that's it. He's just never going to learn. We got to give up and just pray. Anyways, I would do that. Keep Tua. Build with Tua, though, you got to build the defensive line, the offensive line. I don't know why they build from the outside in. Build the offensive line around. If it's Tua or another quarterback, build it up, the interior. Build up the defensive line, the trenches even more. You got to have a roster with a quarterback like Tua. If you decide to keep him, it's kind of like San Fran with Purdy and these other teams. You got to have a roster that is really good. You got to build a really good roster, not a roster with holes. Because, like you said, Tua's not a bus driver. He's not a carrier. He's a point guard and go along the ride, and he's a good quarterback. But my gosh, it's just we cannot keep the same thing for the last quarter century. And I'm sorry, I'm frustrated. Of the same thing, the merry-go-round is going to continue to roll with picking 16 to 22 in the draft. I can't take it anymore. I can't. And we're doing it again, right? So fire Greer, bring in somebody, and they make the decision on McDaniel and Tua. That's what I would do. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think any of it's happening. I have no confidence that we're going to do anything substantial under Stephen Ross. I think, to be honest, this is not going to change to Stephen Ross, not the owner. I think it starts there. And everybody says, what do we need? Oh, a franchise quarterback. Oh, franchise tackle. No. We need a franchise GM. We need somebody who can finally make the right decisions up top. That's the difference. Do you follow hockey at all?
Yeah, I love hockey.
Yeah, you see what the Panthers did? They got the right GM, and look what happened.
That's what Zito, it is. Man.
Zito is a dog. Zito is cold.
And then he got the right coach too. Well, right. when he had the other coach, he realized this guy is not it. Let me get the right coach. He brought in Paul Maurice, and Paul Maurice, man, he helped out, contrast that team where you saw the difference night and day. And then on top of that, to bring in young players like a Matthew Tkachuk, and some the other guys that he brought in, and letting go of some of the old heads that listen. Thank you, Hubie, for everything you did, but you gotta go. To me, the way that franchise was run, look at what they did. They ended up being the 8th seed. They made it to the Stanley Cup. They lost. They learned. Don't touch the stupid President's Cup. Then go ahead and come back, and the next year they go ahead and win it. I was there, and it was awesome. And I went to the parade. It was great. And unfortunately, we don't have that structure here because we don't have an owner that's willing to make tough decisions.
No, and we don't have a GM that has any conviction on anything. I knew as soon when I saw this guy come in and the decisions he made. When he traded Huberdeau, I said we got the right guy. That's what the comparison is. It's like moving off Tua right now and going and getting somebody else. He's like, no, it's not good enough. He's good. He's solid. It looks good, but I want to win a championship. And that's the difference. Good enough.
Thank you. Not to be good enough.
And everybody says it. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel Taylor. That's it. That's the key. What I'm going to ask anybody in the chat or you, where's the power move? Where's his Huberdeau move? Right? Is it drafting? I say this all the time. It's not drafting
Tua. It's not getting rid of Tua. That's the only power move left.
Right. This is not a knock against Tua Tagovailoa. He's a good quarterback.
He's going to go somewhere else and start somewhere else, guys.
He's a starting NFL quarterback.
Second tier NFL quarterback.
Yeah. Point blank. There's no discussion from my point. But, man, and look at the time Allen and Mahomes were drafted. Those teams moved up and got their guy. That's what Bill Zito does. He does those things. He trades for Reinhardt. I mean, I'm probably losing viewers here with the hockey talk, but it's those moves.
I do it all the time. You're good.
It's those moves that you do that are maybe unpopular, but they work out. Okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. My
and
Stanley Cup winning Florida Panthers, guys.
yeah, and they're good again this year because they built the right way. They're constructed the right way, and he wasn't afraid. Look what you know what that team 3 years ago when they made the playoffs got wiped out. That's the Dolphins right now. And what did he do? Changed it up, made a trade, changed the roster because he's not content with going in the first round of the playoffs. This GM and this owner, as long as they're making money and they're a fun team,
that's it.
That's it.
It's just a cash cow for him.
And they're relevant, and they make the first round of the playoffs, and they have Tua, and they're talked about constantly on ESPN. That's what's important to him, obviously, right? Now he puts up. Now I do believe he wants to win. I do believe Ross. He opens his checkbook. I'm not denying that. But to me, my point here is you got to get the stank out of the building that's been here 20 plus years. Who, yes, he hasn't been the GM all the time, but he's been an important person from scout to assistant GM to GM to whatever he is now, the yes man to Stephen Ross and Todd Garfinkel. Sorry on that rant. That subject to me is it's the biggest thing, Miss Fins. It's what will make the difference.
Well, I'll tell you this, and Joe Riss, you make a great point. Hockey doesn't have a QB. Getting the right QB is one of the most difficult things to do in sport. It's true. The equivalent would be getting the right goalie. To me, having the right goalie is like having the right quarterback. If you get the right goalie, then it's like having the right quarterback. A goalie is everything to a hockey team, period. No matter what, no matter how you see that. But what I will say is, he asked you, who do you want?
Oh, okay. From this draft, which quarterback from the draft do you want behind? Good. Okay, obviously it depends how we pick. There's a couple guys I like. Obviously, Sanders, I think, fits the offense the best. I'm not a huge Shedeur Sanders fan, and I kind of want to get away from the whole fanfare from the position, all the stuff that comes with it. But Sanders, to me, fits Mike McDaniel. If you're going to keep Mike McDaniel, Shedeur Sanders is the best fit. I like Jackson Dart, the kid from Ole Miss, but Cam Ward would be nice. Cam Ward would be my guy. I know it's a local kid. I don't know if it works, but, man, he's got that juice. He just got it, man. He's the exact opposite of Tua Tagovailoa. Off script,
So he wouldn't work. He wouldn't work in this offense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be if you're gonna pick a quarterback, it's probably Sanders or Carson Beck. Probably fits this offense. I'm not a huge Carson Beck guy. It's not a big draft, but you got to get one in the first couple rounds. How about you? Who do you like?
None of them. I don't want a quarterback in this draft. I mean, I'll take one in the fifth, maybe, just to have like a backup and just to have another developing guy. I still like Skylar Thompson. That's why I don't care about getting a draft quarterback. I want the 2026 draft for my QB. Period. That's what I want. 2026 draft for my QB. I think better QBs are going to come out of that draft.
Here's the point he was making. Before you go, I want to hit on this. Yes, hockey does have a quarterback, but it's not just a quarterback, man. It's the ability to not settle for something that's just going to get you here, and there's a ceiling, and your head keeps hitting the ceiling, and you can't go anywhere. To not be afraid to keep trying, even if you keep to it. That's my problem. They don't, why are you allergic to bringing in a young kid and teach him? Why is it just it's Tua and everybody else, and we're going to roll with Mike White or Skylar Thompson? That costs you. And if Chris Greer does get fired, the quarterback too is what cost him the job. Anyways,
1,000%. No, the reason, see, they decided to go with Tua versus, to me, one of the best head coaches we're gonna have. What's up, Daniel? Yeah, I know. He's a super. I mean, I'm reasonable. Okay, he's still developing for me, so I've always wanted him as my Matt Moore of the team, where I could have him as a backup for 10 years. I love Matt Moore. I'm a huge Matt Moore fan. That's what I want Skylar Thompson for. My issue is that for the Dolphins, they got rid of one of the. To me, he's gonna be a great head coach wherever he goes. Wherever Flores goes. I was so upset when we got rid of him. Wherever Flores goes, he's gonna make a huge difference. A huge. We let go
Right.
gem of a coach. And you know what? I think that we didn't appreciate what we had. If we would have given Flores 10-year contract, which is what I wanted, let him get the lumps in, let him get and build the team how he wants. Start out, defense first, then work on special team, then work on offense. I think that we would have honestly already been in the AFC Championship, in my opinion. With
But
lesser players, he already had the first back-to-back winning seasons in 20 years. First time we beat the Patriots in 25 years. So for me, that was the pick. Unfortunately, we had the worst GM alive, owner that doesn't know anything, and we were stuck with a quarterback we didn't get a chance to really see. We were screwed by COVID, and unfortunately, we had a 3-minute video from Trent Dilfer telling us how good Tua was, and one pass that made a difference for that kid. Like that's it.
are you going? You're
That's
going
all
back to
Tua.
the 2020 draft? Yeah. No, they
That's all
weren't taking
Tua.
her. They weren't taking Herbert regardless. I think that
You
COVID.
didn't have to
But did,
take Tristan Wirth was the pick at that point at 5. You take him and you take Jordan Love at 18. That's what he wanted to do, Flores.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
You
I've
take
heard.
your left tackle and you get your quarterback.
If here's the thing, they were the owner. I don't know if Greer, but I know the owner. I always say this: they didn't draft Tua Tagovailoa. They drafted Tua. Okay, he brought the brand to them. They were taking
Oh,
Tua no
that
matter
was it.
what. Yeah, they were taking Tua no matter what. I heard that about I've heard like you have about he wanted the offensive tackle at 5, and then Love at 18. But did he really? I don't know. Right? It's okay.
No, he said it. He
But
said it.
but but okay. But knowing the way Chris Greer is, he usually gives what his coach wants. If he really didn't want Tua, I don't know if Tua's on this team.
Stephen Ross saw nothing but dollar
That's the
signs with
only
Tua.
point. Yeah.
Thank for Tua. The fan base wants Tua. Ticket sales are going through the roof. Look at all this merch sale. There's nothing wrong. Hey man, make your money. You know what I mean? But
Oh,
you're
he's
not gonna
making
put
it.
a good foot. You're not gonna put a good football product on the field. We blessed Tua and his family by drafting him at 5. In my opinion, if we wouldn't have drafted him at 5, he would have dropped out of the top 10.
They said I don't know if I believe this, but I remember back then, I mean we're going back to that draft, that if we would have took Herbert, the Chargers would have took Tua. I mean, I don't know about that.
I don't think so, and I don't
Curtis,
even think we wouldn't have taken Herbert because you needed a left tackle.
yeah, I
We
want to
would have
answer
had Worth
yeah.
right now. We wouldn't have had to pay all this money to Teron Armstead,
It wasn't
who's
going to be
only
worth.
available half the season.
It was going to be Andrew Thomas. That's the guy I heard Greer wanted, the tackle from.
Not Greer. I don't know what the hell Greer wants. It's what my head coach wants.
Well, let me
He's the
answer.
one that's gotta
Yeah,
play.
yeah. Let me answer Joe's about Curtis Rook. I know. Yeah, the kid from Indiana. I'll be honest, Joe. I haven't done a lot of homework on him yet, but I'm going to take a look at him now that you mentioned it. That you like him in this offense. I got to take a look at Curtis Rook. I love the draft stuff. I don't know about you, but that's where my
I hate
passion
draft
came.
stuff.
Really? Oh, I
I can't
love it.
stand it. Why get all hyped about players we're never gonna take? Especially, see, I know my GM. I know my GM. I know
Yeah.
how he operates. So that's why, to me, talking draft is a waste. I'll do mock drafts up and down
I don't do
a
mock
week
drafts.
before
I
the
don't like the
draft,
mock.
but that's it.
Mock drafts to
I'll
me are
do it a
waste of
week
time.
before the draft, 2 weeks before the draft. I'll do mock draft. That's it. Like, I can't stand talking draft because we never pick the guys that we think are gonna be a good addition to the team, and we're always stuck with the who. Like, it's funny. I heard a video came out this week that the Lions were waiting for us to pick our sixth
Oh,
pick.
man, that's
And
Penny Sewell.
they said Waddle. It's Waddle. Yeah, the Lions are happy we took Waddle,
Well,
just because the Bengals took Jamar Chase for what do you call it, for Burrow. That don't mean we gotta have Waddle for. And I know Devontae Adams was there too. We didn't have to have Waddle or Devontae Adams
Devontae
for
Smith. I
Tua.
mean, yeah,
Smith, sorry,
yeah,
Devontae
yeah.
Smith for Tua. We didn't have to do that. I wanted Penei Sewell, and I still remember the draft was done in the stadium. They had a draft party. It was me,
Yeah.
I think two of my brothers and a couple of our friends, and we were there. When they said with the sixth pick, the Miami Dolphins select, you know the little chime,
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle, University of Alabama. I booed so loud. I said, boo! And it's funny because I was at the end. I was on the right side of the end out of the line that we were. And all my friends were like, what? And I was like, boo, 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 boo. Everybody on the field was like, why is she booing? I'm like, boo. Why would we draft Waddle when we had Penei Sewell? I'm trying to protect my quarterback. There's a million wide receivers you could always get in the second, third, fourth round. I need to protect my quarter. I've been trying to protect Tua's everything since we got him. Because I'm like, this guy's going to need all the help he needs. And I didn't care that I booed.
It's roster construction again. Look at Detroit. They build their foundation. We draft the quarterback who gets injured a lot and don't invest in the offensive line. It's crazy. I mean, even though he does get the ball out quick and it helps kind of mask the problems, but still, if you really want to win, and teams put pressure, you got to build a solid front. I don't understand. It's one thing I never understand. And that draft, don't even get me. I had got tipped off. I'll tell you this. Somebody DM'd me before that draft. COVID. That was the year after, but everybody was home more and more in 21 too. But he told me, hey, it looks like it's going to be Waddle. I was like, really? I thought they would go more Devontae Smith if they're going to receiver. I didn't believe him, and then the pick comes in. I go, okay. Exciting player, fits Patua. They need somebody who can get separation. But all you had to do was look at that video and see the Detroit success. You had a gold jacket Hall of Fame offensive lineman. Everybody knew it. And what did you do? When you see a team, I got news for you guys. When you see a team jump up in the war room at pick number 7, that means you probably made a mistake. And Jalen's okay. He's regressed. I don't know what's going on with both the receivers. I don't know if it's just the way the defenses are playing, but
they refuse to play unless it's Tua.
Yeah.
That's what I've reserved to.
But Miss Finns, even with Tua, it's not there. I mean, what did Waddle have yesterday? 3 for 57. Tyreek 3 for 16. I don't know if he's hurt, but you can't tell me those guys are not getting open. I don't understand what's going on. It can't just be that cloud shell coverage that they keep playing on them and kind of bracketing them, but they're too good. They're too good for that.
Well, this gimmicky offense has been figured out. You can like the Wildcat. You can surprise people the first year, but the second, third year, people are gonna know what you're coming with. Well, it ain't nothing new. They're gonna be able to withstand that, and that's where with all this Mac Genius crap, which I never called them.
The too high show, Kenny. I agree, but still, they're great players, man. You don't think Justin Jefferson gets double teamed and they don't play?
Every snap.
Every snap, and he still makes the play. So, something's going on, and we also committed a lot more to the run. I agree. Look, and I agree with this. I don't know if you agree with this, Ms. Finns, but I think if they lean on the run, like I said, this style they're playing and the kind of they're changing the offense based on when the defenses are playing, and Tua is not forcing it downfield. Before they were playing that, and that's where he was getting his picks, is because he still throw it when they're playing the too high, and he still throw it in double coverage. Now he's hitting the tight end, he's doing checkdowns, and he's good at that, right? We can't deny his accuracy. I think really, combined with the defense, if they keep this up, you can win more in cold weather in December and January playing that style. I think so. I don't know if you agree or it looks like you don't agree.
Yeah, the run game is really good. I like who we picked up. Again, it's all about the scheme and what we're trying to run at the end of the day. Like, what can you say? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the players still got to execute, and we got to still see if this team, really wants to do something about it. That's the only thing I can think of. If they really wanna push for the playoffs, is there. They put
It's it.
themselves behind the 8 ball, but it's there. So
Yeah, with their schedule, I think they can do it. I guess we'll
we have the easiest schedule left.
yeah. Look at it. There's no reason we shouldn't be, like I said, 5-6 going to things. If we, it'll be over if we lose to the Patriots or the Raiders. The Raiders, we got the Raiders next, right? Then we got the Patriots. Then we got the big Thanksgiving game. But they're gonna have to win those 2 games. Plus, they're gonna have to win one of those games at least in Houston on the road or in Green Bay. They're gonna have to win one of those games. So it's more of a possibility that they back into the playoffs based on how this AFC is this year than people realize. And I guess we'll kind of wrap it up on this, Ms. Finns. It's already been an hour. I don't want to keep you much longer. What is your prediction here? Do the Miami Dolphins give me your win-loss prediction, and do they sneak into the playoffs?
I mean, sneaking into the playoffs is so Miami Dolphins, so I wouldn't even be surprised. I expect them not to, but I think that sneaking in is absolutely um
It's probably the worst case. It's
can
probably
they
the worst.
win? Can they win? Absolutely. We got the team
Yeah,
to win. Will they win? Only they can answer that at the end of the day. There's nothing we can do
yeah,
about that. If they don't do their job, honestly, it takes no talent for them to do their job. And if they do that and they execute, we'll win. We'll come out and win. That's all that I can say right now. Right now, take it one game at a time, and whoever the next opponent is, to come and do it. This team is so hobbled coming into Hard Rock. There's no way we don't
yeah,
beat this team.
yeah. Oh yeah, the Raiders games.
So
Yeah, yeah. I guess before we go, also Kendall Fuller is going to be out. Do you stick with Cam Smith? Gosh, he gives up completion after completion. Or do you give maybe Storm Duck a chance? Or I guess Ethan Bonner's not in the picture anymore. It doesn't look like they're very high in him. Do you stick? Just keep. I'd roll out Cam Smith. We got to see what we got. We need to see what we got with him.
either one. I mean, honestly, Storm Duck, if he's back, then yeah, I'll take Storm. I'll take Ethan, or I'll take
Bonner,
Cam Smith. At
Cam
this
Smith.
point, Cam Smith is lucky he's still in his rookie contract. That's all I gotta say. But I think that this is the last year that he'll probably be on the team. If we were able to go ahead and utilize him now, this is his shot. He's got to
Yeah,
take it.
I
If he
agree.
doesn't, I don't think he'll be here next year. So it's up to him.
Yeah, and like I said, we need to find out if what he has. This is a good opportunity. If he doesn't do it now, uh, then he has no future with this team. But also, they did mention they did sign a linebacker today off waivers. Actually, a pretty good linebacker, Dotson
Dotson.
from the
Yeah.
Seahawks. So that'll help them. Dolphins got the Raiders next week. I think we'll wrap it up here, Miss Finns. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. Like and subscribe to the Finns Faithful podcast, but also check out Miss Finns. Tell them everything you got going on over there at your channel.
Well, first and foremost, George, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. As always, guys, if you haven't done so already, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Everybody watching everywhere else, come over here to YouTube and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get him up in the scales. Thank you so much for having me, man. For me, you can find me Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. And on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. with my co-host, Mr. Color Commentary from the Finns Tailgate.
Oh, he's great.
For League Wide Wednesday. So please go ahead and check us out. But yeah, every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. and Wednesdays at 8 p.m.
All right. Thank you so much for those kind words, Ms. Finns, and everybody in the chat. Daniel, Mia, Kenny, Joe, Daniel, everybody in the chat. Thanks so much. Thanks again. It was a great show. I appreciate it. And we'll do it again sometime. As always, guys, stay Finns faithful. We
Fins
are
up.
out.